conduct business on behalf of Helena and her people. Lord, we ask that you would give us the wisdom to do so according to your plan and not our own. Lord, we thank you for everyone that is represented here tonight. Lord, we pray that your hand of protection and favor be upon them as well as us. In Jesus' holy name, amen.
Amen.
Tonight, our pledge is going to be led by the Arrow of Light Den Cub Scouts from Pack 532. So if you would like to come forward.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is our council roll call.
LaBelle.
Here.
Bangley.
Here.
Joseph. Here. Halsey. Here. Goodman.
We have a quorum. First thing on our agenda is the presentation of our minutes from August 8th and our work session minutes from August 15th. Y'all all had a chance to review those.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes from both the previous meeting and the work session.
Second.
All right, we've had a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Approve the minutes. Next is our revenue report and our bill payment. Again, you've all had a chance to look at that. Any questions or any discussion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the revenue report and bill payments as presented.
I'll second.
We've had a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mayor bills. Moving right along, we have our municipal operations report from our mayor Puckett.
I'll keep it short, sweet. Thanks everybody for being out here. The council members, I want to go in and thank y'all in advance for the items that y'all are going to be voting on tonight, one being the budget. I just want to recognize that this council put in probably about 20 or so hours into going through every line item to make sure that every penny was spent the correct way. So I want to thank y'all for that. But all in all, the city is doing great. Thank the police department and fire department for keeping us safe. And with that, we'll be getting back here in 2 weeks.
Thank you. All right. First thing, or next thing on our agenda is the City of Palina fiscal year 2021 audit. You've all had a chance to look at that. We've got a high rating.
We did it. There were only a couple or two minor violations or issues that were notated by the audit for this year by the independent auditor. One is the one that is the separation of duties, that we don't have the staff in order to be, or the room to be able to provide the separation of duties that they have to make. And they noted that every year since I could find audits.
Down to that, several times. Okay, now, any questions, any discussion on the audit?
I'll make a motion that we approve the City of Palina's fiscal year 2021 audit report as presented.
I'll second.
We've had a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. There's your audit. Next on our agenda is ordinance 895-2022, and this will be our second reading, which is an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Helena to provide special district planning, special district plan mixed use development. And again, this is our second reading. Any questions or any statements or discussion?
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 895-2022, amending zoning ordinance to provide special planned and mixed use development in the city of Palina.
I'll second.
All right, we've had a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 895-2022 passes. Next, we have another second reading, ordinance 898-2022, which is amending the zoning ordinance to provide regulation on broadband. Again, you've all had a chance to read that. This is our second reading. Any discussion? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 898-2022, amending the zoning ordinance to provide regulation on broadband.
I'll second.
We've had a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving right on down the agenda. Next, we have ordinance 896-2022R, which is a pre-zone that's asking for 11 acres on Morgan Road. Parcel 12.1.12.0000014.000 from A1, B2, and B1 to special district planned commercial district. And I understand this was a unanimous approval from planning and zoning.
Yes, sir, this was, went through this last Thursday night through planning and zoning and was approved unanimous.
Any questions, any discussion?
Yes, so we did have, significant discussion about this piece of property. Right now, as it stands, it's in Shelby County zoned very similarly. Zoned for A1, B2, and B1, and, the property owners have asked for, a pre-zoning ruling from planning and zoning and also the city council. They would like to join the city of Helena and develop this property. And it was, you know, we want to commend the city, we want to use it for this, everyone agreed with it. And it's right off that, like the red light at Morgan Road in South Shasta. Now, you were there, am I leaving leaving out any pertinent details?
No, you characterized it well.
Okay,
Because it was unincorporated Shelby County.
That's right.
that's great.
And the property will be developed regardless of whether we bring it to the city.
Right. Yeah.
It's already zoned with county B1 and B2.
Yeah.
You said they mentioned, what they want to use it for.
It'd be special district mixed use, and they were talking with some of the residents who came to the planning and zoning board meeting, about setting appropriate buffers and things to try and maintain their privacy and things like that. They want to be good neighbors.
Did the consensus at P and Z feel that both parties were satisfied?
Any other discussions? Okay, now I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 896-2022R.
I think that question.
Do you want to open it for discussion? Because you've got people raising their hands.
Oh, do we? I did not know anyone was here to discuss.
So there's a motion on the floor.
Right.
I got to all.
Okay.
Well, we can second it and have discussion.
Gonna be approved.
Seconding doesn't approve it, it opens it up for
Right.
discussion.
I will not, I guess what I'm trying to say is we will not have a vote to.
Yeah, I was gonna make a motion to approve ordinance 896-2022R, pre-zone, of 11 acres off Morgan Road from A1, B2, and B1 to special district planned commercial district, within the city of Helena.
For a second, I think we have questions from y'all.
Okay, do we have someone in the audience that would like to speak? Okay, if you will step forward and state your name and address.
My name is Linda Brooke and I live on 3479 Morgan Road. It's also 32 Hollow Oak Road. This property, I have sent pictures that we have a problem that there was a illegal dump in this property. And also the road down for me has completely washed out because of water coming down. We don't know what the situation is, but I have neighbors that are pretty much stranded because Hollow Oak Road has been just completely, just washed away. And what my neighbors and myself that we're concerned about is that with building something there and the dump, someone did bring it to my attention that the facility would be built above the dump site, but the dump site is on that property. And Mr. Wicks, many years ago, allowed people to dump whatever and whenever, but I'm asking for a soil test, because I do live right there, that, is that possible to, keep us safe and also their business safe?
I think a part of the planning process, that as this landowner comes and works with our planning and zoning group, they require federal, state, and local rules and regulations to be followed around soil testing, that sort of thing. So I think that we cover.
That is correct. Right now, the only thing that we are being asked to decide is on a pre-zone, on whether or not that would be allowed within the city of Helena at this particular use, as far as stormwater runoff, soil test, anything like that would have to be done by the developer in conjunction with the planning and zoning board. In the next phase of this, which would be like developing a preliminary plat, that's where they would do their due diligence and present their findings to the zoning commission. And make sure, and really kind of hone in on those plans. So it's still a little bit early for that yet. Right now, it's just, would we like for them to be in the city, and do we approve this general, what is it, special district plan, commercial district use for that parcel?
So your concerns would need to come up at a later time.
Okay, I'll be here.
We just want to notate, that Holloway Road, is a private road, so the county has no say so of it, nor do us. It's the private owners of the road.
Can I ask something there? Why is it named? Why is it a named road if it's a private road?
For 911 purposes, all roads have to be named.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we've had a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
We've had a motion and a second for ordinance 896-2022R, rezone. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, pass. Ordinance passes. Next, going along with this, we have an annexation of it's 899-2022A. Patels are asking for this 11 acres off Morgan Road to be annexed into the city limits.
I'll make-
Was there any discussion about
Can I
that?
get an immediate consideration on this one?
We do have to take immediate consideration.
Because it'll be the first reading, since it was not on planning and zoning.
Okay, I did not realize that. Right, so,
I'll make a motion for immediate consideration for the annexation 899-2022A for 11 acres off Morgan Road, parcel number named earlier.
I'll second.
okay, we've had a motion and a second for immediate consideration. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So we are, this is now has immediate consideration, so it will come before this council again to approve or deny the annexation of this property. It's 11 acres off Morgan Road. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve the annexation request 899-2022A, 11 acres off Morgan Road, partial 12.1.12.00014.000.
I'll second.
We've had a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Welcome to the city.
That's right. Welcome, you're in the city of Palina. Right. Okay, next we have the first reading of ordinance 900-2022, which this is our first reading, and it is an ordinance for solid waste and debris disposal. I know all of you have had that. Like I said, this is our first reading, so it will not be coming out for a vote.
Well, I'll just say very briefly that this combined ordinance combines about 6 or 7 previous ordinances that address solid waste and debris removal in the city of Helena. So we consolidated it down into one concise document. It also institutes an additional fee of $6 per household, which equates to 20 cents per day for debris pickup for every household in the city of Palina. We are currently running in the red on the debris pickup. It's not viable to the city's finances to continue to sustain that program without expanding that program to every resident in the city. Without any other viable options, I brought this to council for first reading.
Next, I'm going to make a little bit of change in our agenda. I'm just gonna move something up, and that is the approval or denial of the 23 Mac computers for the new curriculum at Helena High School, up to $51,000 using the 1 cent fund. And we have a fairly thorough explanation given to us in our pre-session. So, yes.
I have instructors.
Right. Right.
I have,
And the instructor for the class.
Yeah, both of them.
okay, thank you. I have a few questions. I'm sorry I could not come to the pre-council or kept me from being able to do so. This program, is it a program that is being, a new program that's being created because all of the schools in Shelby County to teach, or at least the high schools?
So we have various programs at each of our high schools that do something along these lines. Some are only a single class, and some are full programs, such as what Ms. Kendrick will be teaching. So I believe that answers your question.
It does. How is that decision made in turn? Are y'all doing that based on surveys and information that's gathered from the students here in Helena, so that they see that that is a definite interest amongst our student population?
I can say that the decisions are usually made by the high school themselves, not
Okay.
necessarily by the
By the
district.
board.
And this specific course or class was transferred from like a typical traditional business type class to a marketing class. And the goal is that it becomes more of a marketing apparatus for the school at large, sports, clubs, organizations. Now, if you care to hear from some students, you may be able to hear from some students in the back of the room that could speak towards Husky TV, which is not quite part of this program, but that has done some similar things to shine some light on some accomplishments of teachers as well as students. The goal for this program would be to expand that and be able to create social media content to tell Helena High School stories, even beyond what's possible in a 5-minute video that's shown in one class that we call Husky TV, which is a great program. Ms. Screws, who teaches that, does a great job. But we're just trying to expand, and I speak as just a resource to Ms. Kendrick and to Helena High School. And I was one of them that made the suggestion for this lab after they decided to do this type of course.
The class can be offered just as a textbook class where they learn it from a book. We're taking it as another school in the district has done and making it an immersive. They actually execute the things that we're learning, and they're not just reading about it, but we're actually going out and doing it for the clubs, for the sports, for the band, for theater, fine arts, marketing posters, hype videos for the school. So we're essentially trying to turn it into a little small marketing agency, constantly functioning to promote the school itself.
Is this a request directly from you guys as the school or the school board of education?
It was a request made. She requested the grant initially, and then the grant wasn't fulfilled, and then
So you applied for a tag team grant in the fall?
Yeah.
And then
Or
there was-
spring?
Yeah, spring.
Okay.
and I believe then
So you made the initial request, not the board of education?
Yes, me.
Okay. All right. Yes, Laura?
She had mentioned in work session that, one or both of the classes were maxed out or approaching maxed out, potential wait list. So I feel like there is significant interest from the students in the value that this class offers them. Just to your point, the question that you had asked earlier.
Well, I appreciate that. I think my biggest thing is this is a huge expenditure. It feel a little better coming from this school directly versus the board, Level Board of Education. But at that point, you're looking at a lot of different things. My only other question for you guys would be, just so I understand correctly, this is a class that will essentially feed into the board that we're working to try to figure out how to do as well, correct?
Well, that's actually, so there's two programs. There's another teacher, Cliff Nairn, and Cliff will actually be teaching a somewhat similar program, but in that program, they're actually creating more of the graphics that are going to be on the screen itself.
So this is more standalone.
Yes, and Nairn also is going to be working with them to do more like live streaming. That's his program, does more of that kind of stuff. Although he and Ms. Kendrick will be working together in some capacity, as well as there could be the opportunity for this lab to be available for his classes when there's opportunity for when Ms. Kendrick's class is not using it.
Okay. I said that was my last question. I have one more. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I just like to make sure I understand everything. These types of devices are very expensive. They last a few years. They don't last forever. Is there a mechanism in place to fund those as you need to? Or is it something you anticipate coming back to the council for every 5-7 years to pay for this in its entirety?
I would say that Career Tech, which she is a Career Tech teacher, and Career Tech at the district level, they do rotate. They do have like a rotating funding that happens. The reason that this program isn't able to be funded through that currently is because the timing was sort of an end of the year decision last year to convert this program, and so decisions had already been made for other funding allocation. And so it wasn't available at that time, but definitely in the future, Career Tech would see it, at least in part, their responsibility to keep this program going and growing.
Very good. Do you guys have any concerns?
No, we talked about it very extensively.
That's fine. That's
I wanted
why
to ask real quickly how the others like Calera and Oak Mountain, how did they pay for their programs? Did they wait for their year for CTEC grants, or did the city kick in some, or like what kind of funding solutions did they find to purchase the equipment they needed to run similar programs?
So Calera High School, when I started teaching there, I came from, like I said, a Jefferson County classroom and came to Calera. And it was a new program we were starting there, and really the first of its kind in Shelby County at the time. And Career Tech did purchase a Mac lab for my classroom at the time. And that was the first, and as of right now, the only Mac lab in Shelby County. So Helena would have the second Mac lab in Shelby County. I'm sure would prefer to be the first, but it's gonna have to settle for the second in this case. But at Oak Mountain, John Milton has been teaching this program for probably about 5 years or so, and only recently has he been able to get, now he did go a PC route instead of a Mac route, and the PCs that he bought are more expensive than the Macs that we're recommending. But he didn't start off with those. He started off with the same PCs that a lot of programs start off with, and was not able to do a lot of the stuff that he does now because of that.
And was that a CTEC grant as well?
Those were provided to him via CTEC, and since then he's been able to, and he didn't start off with a full lab, he's sort of grown incrementally, which is probably the way that Career Tech would handle this is probably, depending on the needs. If there was a need for the whole lab to be redone, they probably would do that, but most likely it would probably be, a chunk at a time that they would take with something like this, potentially. I can't fully speak for Career Tech, but just based on my experience as a former Career Tech teacher and my workings with John Milton and other teachers like him.
Okay. And you mentioned as well that Monadella has a class in broadcast journalism.
Yes, ma'am.
Did they use similar programs as well, and did they receive that equipment through a CTEC grant?
Okay, so what Cassie Screws does at Helena High School with Husky TV is similar to what Miss House does at Montevallo. And Miss House, actually, she's one that I worked with one of the first high schools I worked with, after I stepped away from high school into my position I'm currently in. And we actually fund that through a grant with a company by the name of Lawast. They provide me about $7,000 each semester to go into a high school and work to upgrade or begin a program. And at Montevallo, they had a much needed, they had a big need for an upgrade. And so we upgraded, but it's also one Mac laptop, one camera, one lens, one tripod. It's a relatively simple setup there that usually has 15 students involved, and there's a lot of like waiting, so to speak. So it's a much smaller scale production there that they're doing, and again, it's a single class, and we replicate that each semester. And this semester would have been a time for me to go in and work with Cassie Screws, again with $7,000. I've actually put that off until next semester to come into Helena High School, in part to see what this was going to do, as well as to see Cassie's actually on a maternity leave, and so I wanted to give her an opportunity to contribute to the decision as to what we do with that $7,000. And this semester, I'm actually trying to go into middle schools and elementary schools with that $7,000. We're actually looking at involvement with Helena Middle School. I've talked with Dr. Epps about what's needed there and what they wish to have. So, sorry, I know that's a long, exhaustive answer. I'm sorry.
Thank you for.
Yes, ma'am.
I will entertain a motion to purchase 23 Mac computers, a new curriculum up to $51,000 using our 1 cent fund.
I make a motion that we approve the budget request from our 1 cent fund benefiting Helena High School for 23 Mac computers up to $51,000.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Yes, you should get your computers. My kids are happy. Okay. Next on our agenda, we have resolution 0822-2022, which is our fiscal year 2023 general fund budget. Is there any discussion, anything? I would like to say that I know that everyone has worked very hard on this budget, and I appreciate that. Any other discussions or Mayor, anything you want to say about it?
Make a motion that we approve resolution 0822-2022 for fiscal year ending 2023, our general fund budget.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna abstain.
Moving right along. Next, we have resolution 0822-2022A, a resolution indicating the holidays to be observed by the city employees for the fiscal year 2023. Any discussion on that? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 0822-2022A, indicating holidays to be observed by city employees for the fiscal year 2023.
I'll second.
We've had a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Employees have vacation days, not vacation, holidays. Sorry.
Have holiday.
Moving right along, we have resolution 0822-2022B. This is a resolution adopting transportation plan pursuant to the Rebuild Alabama Act. Do we have anyone here?
No, so this is the resolution we have to pass every single year to be able to use the federal or the state funding that we receive from Rebuild Alabama Act, and that we ensure that it goes to roads.
Discussion, questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve resolution 0822-2022B.
I'll second.
We've had a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, we have resolution 0822-2022C, a resolution authorizing the city of Helena to join the state of Alabama and other local governments as participants in current and future opioid settlements. Is there anyone here that wants to talk about that?
So that's something that we've been ongoing with. This is an additional resolution, to add to the resolutions y'all have passed in previous months, to continue, to ensure that the whole city of Helena is represented in this entire, participation in the settlements of opioids.
I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 08222022C.
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I forgot to vote. Sorry.
No, I didn't hear your voice. All right, that motion passes. Next, we have a budget amendment for the police department for $6,000 for Easy Child ID, which I think was explained to us last meeting. And so, is there any other discussion, any questions on that?
No,
I'll make-
I'd like
I'll
to make
make
a motion to approve it, unless, did I beat you?
I'll let you have it, how's that? 'Cause it's getting done either way.
They want their name in there.
No,
All right, who's making the motion?
Laura's got it.
Laura, did you make it?
I did.
Okay.
I will second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we come to our proclamations. Our first proclamation is proclaiming September 17th through the 23rd, 2022 as Constitution Week. Do we have anyone in the audience to talk about that? I think we do. Can you state your names?
My name is Christy Averett. I am the Flag Chair Committee. I am the chair for the Flag Committee at David Lindsay Chapter Daughters of American Revolution. I'm Audra White, the Central District Director for the Alabama Society Daughters of the American Revolution.
I'm Jenny Montpower. I'm the chapter librarian and the Constitution Week chair.
So we are here today to ask the city of Helena to participate in Constitution Week, September 17th through the 23rd, 2022. Just a little bit of history. In 1955, the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution petitioned Congress with a resolution to set aside the 17th through the 23rd of September and for it to be dedicated for the observance of Constitution Week. The annual celebration was established and signed into law by then President Dwight D. Eisenhower on August 2nd, 1956. NSDAR is committed to encouraging the study of and educating the public about the Constitution and the men who framed it. We brought with us today some ideas and ways that each of us as citizens can celebrate the 67th anniversary of the first Constitution Week. This 67th anniversary commemorates the 235th anniversary of the signing of the Constitution. Some ideas like ringing of the bells at 4 p.m. on the 17th, or giving out copies of the Constitution. Maybe if you are a teacher, use that week to study the Constitution, and as always, as citizens, to protect and defend the Constitution. As you leave today, please feel free to take a copy of any of the items that are over here we have for you. And thank you again to the City of Helena for allowing the DAR to be here tonight and for joining us and celebrating by making the proclamation. Thank you.
So with that, before you leave, so now therefore, because you said all the stuff that was in my proclamation, that made my life easier. But by my virtue as the mayor of the city of Helena, I do hereby proclaim that the week of September 17th through the 23rd, 2022 is Constitution Week in the city of Helena.
She's over there.
Come on, librarian. What are you doing?
Thank you.
Can I tell them that I'm a member of the DAR?
Ma'am?
I'm a DAR.
Awesome.
Arkansas, I'm not sure. Next, we have proclamation proclaiming the month of September is Gynecologic Cancer Awareness Month. Do we have anyone here representing that proclamation?
All right, so, the, Laura Crandall Brown Foundation, and their State of Chill, initiative brings awareness to the GYN cancers, to the people throughout the state of Alabama. We specifically want to do this. We do this each and every year, to make sure that September is known in the city, as Gynecological Cancer Awareness Month. So, I do proclaim, by the powers of me being the mayor, that we have September is recognized as Gynecological Cancer Awareness Month. And there's the fancy picture of that.
Moving right along, we have another proclamation proclaiming September 4th through September 10th as National Suicide Prevention Week. Do we have anyone in the audience?
Hey. So my name is Ryan Sims. I'm a resident of Helena. I lost my mother to suicide in 2009. So it's a topic that's very dear to my heart. So September is actually Suicide Prevention Awareness Month as well. And AFSP is a local chapter in Alabama that actually is trying to get the word out about talking about suicide. It affects every socioeconomic range. It affects all ages, everybody. And it's something that's completely preventable. So I brought the proclamation to the city, and again, I sincerely appreciate it from the bottom of my heart that y'all do this. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to people out there. And for Suicide Prevention Week, AFSP really wants to get the word out there about talking about suicide, and they start their community walks in September. So we encourage people in the city to get out there and volunteer with AFSP and really show your support. I sincerely appreciate it.
So there's a couple other things that I want to add is, as Ryan mentioned, this is something that affects everyone. There's no, typically there's no signs that this is going to happen, but if you do see some signs, whether it be the Comprehensive Suicide, Mental Health, and Substance Use Crisis Response Team, a new national phone number was established this past year, which is simply 988. So if you need someone to get some help, or you know someone that needs help, please direct them in that number, because these are trained professionals that can assist with that. So on behalf of the city of Helena and myself, I do hereby grant that September 4th through 10th is National Suicide Prevention Week in the city of Helena, as well as it coinciding with the World Suicide Prevention Day, which is September 10th.
Sir, I would like to join that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I am a mother that my 21-year-old son committed suicide. So I would love to.
Yeah, we can definitely talk afterwards.
Get out of the way. Did you drop out my double chin? I will. Thank you.
Start off with bang.
Next, we have another proclamation proclaiming September as National Hunger Awareness Month. And we have someone that is not a stranger to these chambers. Kate Blossom is going to talk to us about that, because she was here on the team council. Kate, I'm going to get you to tell them all who you are and what you're representing.
Hi everyone, my name is Katie Glosson, and I am the current Miss Teen Alabama United States 2022. This past May, I graduated from Helena High School, and I now attend the University of Alabama. With this title, I am promoting my personal platform of childhood food insecurity. I have partnered with the Backpack Buddies program in Shelby County that serves over 39 schools and over 1,000 kids total. And I am working with them to spread awareness, to fundraise, and to bring in more food donations. I have started with Shelby County, but I am expanding to other weekender programs throughout the state of Alabama. So with September being proclaimed as National Food Insecurity Awareness Month, I'm wanting to do a citywide food drive. I hope to work with the teen council to make boxes to put around different places in Helena. And I'll be also creating a GoFundMe account for people who can't or don't want to donate food, but instead donate money. Thank you.
So, your passion for this cause is tremendous. You mentioned that when we were meeting the other week, and you've shown it. So, but before that, I want to congratulate you as being Miss Teen Alabama USA. That's a huge success and an honor to have a Helena resident being our representative for the state. But without that funness, myself as mayor of the city of Helena do proclaim that September 2022 is National Hunger Awareness Month and the second Thursday of September as National Hunger Action Day, and commit to pursuing opportunities within the local food systems to promote food access and food security wherever possible. And Katie's initiative with the boxes and doing that is just one of those steps that we have to take as a city. Yes.
Which one I want first? You go ahead. Like I need to get closer. Okay, one more.
Now, Jefferson County EMA would like to recognize the drone operators for their help at the Birmingham Ball Games. We have two gentlemen here.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. I'm Jim Coker. I'm the EMA Director for Jefferson County. I've been there for 8 years. Prior to that, I served 35 years in law enforcement. No Chief Flynn, never mind, we won't get into that. For a year or two, I didn't bring any pictures here. I wanted to thank publicly members of the police department and fire department, because 5 years prior to the World Games, we started planning for public safety. Part of the World Games I'm going to talk about is the side the public did not see. It's not the side you're seeing in the news right now. This is the behind the curtain side. So over 5 years, we had contact with and worked with 109 agencies. We were able to put on over 50 training classes. And as best we can tell, over 1,800 personnel were beneficiaries to the training. The training was brought to us by the Federal Training Consortium, LSU, TEACS, all over the country. And that was at no cost. That's an important point. That was at no cost. So tonight we wanted to thank members of the Helena Police Department for supporting us during drone operations. We didn't get to see much of the games. This is Chris Tate, who's our chief drone pilot, EMA officer, and half a dozen other pilots. So we brought a set of the medals. Gentlemen.
Come on.
We thought that they might want to get their pictures made with them.
They're lucky I'm not making them give a speech.
There's still time. But these guys helped fly our drone. We actually flew a total of 13 hours in support of the World Games. And you think 13 hours sound like a lot. When you're flying an aircraft in a Tier 1 rated event with a lot of additional assets that are out there, watching what you were doing, maintaining the safety of the airspace, especially around classy airspace at Birmingham Airport, doing everything that we were doing. 13 hours of flight time, that's a lot of time. And without some of these folks here that were able to come and support us, our staff was short. As you imagine, we were going for well over 10 days, 24/7. So the ability to have people like these guys here, City of Palina Police Department, and others, we have the same equipment. We train with each other, we work with each other, and I have no issues calling them and saying, hey, I need help. That's big thing that the Emergency Management Agency does for Jefferson County. And we're just grateful that we have partners here that are willing and able to come when we ask for help. And we want to make sure that y'all are aware that if y'all ever have that same need,
we're willing to come and help at any point in time. So just thank y'all for y'all's time and service.
Okay, well, Chris takes these out of the box. Our Emergency Operations Center did run 24/7 for days. We had over 100 people a day there, local, state, and federal officers, local, state, and federal agencies I've never heard of before this event. So you can imagine the tempo that we operated under. So what they did with their drone flight, they were able to live stream back areas that were being monitored to the EOC, to the many, many agencies that were represented. So you ready? Okay.
Here, Laura. Talking. So I'm sure the y'all want to get some, go. Hold it, don't drop them.
Oh, wow.
Jim, get in there. Jim.
Wow, this is your guys.
Well, you lost that right.
There you go.
Officer Black represented, so that's the list.
Oh, indeed. Hales, SRO. That's right.
Get close up.
Yeah, I'll tell the husband and they'll, just get the other officers. I know he does back.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, we have our council comments in this meeting. I'll never go first. I'll start here. Laura, you can go first.
Okay. First off, I wanted to thank publicly Helena Howard. They closed out their Old Town Live summer concert series this past weekend. This group has done an outstanding job of bringing value not only to the citizens of Helena, but also the greater Birmingham area. They've done a fantastic job bringing 4 concerts to us this summer that were offered free, to get folks here in Helena to enjoy our city and maybe learn about it if they've never been here before. So I wanted to just publicly thank them, and if you weren't able to come to any of the concerts, let you guys know too how hard they're working and what wonderful things that they're doing here for the city of Helena. And in addition, I've got a report on the library, Monday, the 29th. They will be having Lego Fun at 5:30, and new items are arriving daily. I know with school starting back, a lot of teachers are putting in those requests that you read so many hours a day. That was my teacher. So many minutes per day and lot of reading and stuff. Hours. So make sure to visit the JB Homeschool Library. It's like right over there. Library cards are free. Come see Dan if you don't have one, but it's a great resource that we have. I just wanted to remind everybody to visit your local library.
Chris?
Ladies from the Daughters of the American Revolution, thank you for being here tonight to remind all of us, and especially this council, of the oath that we took to defend our Constitution. That means a lot to everyone in this room, whether we realize it or not. I appreciate you being here tonight. Katie, thank you for taking a stand for hunger. You know, we live in a fairly affluent community, yet we still have students that arrive at school every day without food. Thank you for taking that chance. Ryan, I'm gonna be like you now. As someone who has experienced the pain of a suicide in their immediate family, I cannot speak enough to the need for suicide prevention and outreach. You know, to this day, I think I was one phone call away for that person to live. So thank you all for what you do. It makes a big difference.
I will echo what they've said, and then just super briefly touch on my vote for budget. I do agree with the mayor. It was good work. We worked great. I simply was not ready. I actually liked a lot of this budget. There were a couple questions I felt I could not get answers for. that satisfied me, and I did not feel comfortable with that. Also, this is probably the first time in a while I've seen it not be a perfect zero balance budget. I think that has always happened, and it's, again, no knock on the work that was done, it was fantastic. But I just have my own personal concerns with a few little things, so just kind of wanted to abstain rather than say no, because I do like a large bulk of what was accomplished in our meetings, and I appreciate that effort. It is really nice to see our teen council back. Y'all make things just feel a little livelier. So maybe it was the cheering for the computers, I don't know. But it is nice to have you guys back. Pack 532, you guys did a great job. Thank you so much for coming tonight and leading us in the pledge. Also hope that you guys learned some stuff about government. But we're excited. We always enjoy having you guys come through, and our girls as well. It's fun to get to teach you guys things, but also have you lead us in our pledge. And then for each of you that came for very important causes tonight, I know I already said I echoed that, but I also really do just want you to know that my heart is with you, particular with you, sir, and I'm so sorry I forgot your name. What's your name? Ryan. I apologize for that, but particularly for you, Ryan. Anyway, I think that's it.
One of the disadvantages I have is I always go last and they've said everything, but I'll ditto everything they've said. But Teen Council, you know how much I love you. I'm so glad to have you here. Katie, thank you. And Teen Council actually meets as soon as this meeting is over, so I would appreciate if everyone that is not staying for Teen Council meeting would exit this room fairly quickly so we can have our meeting as well. Okay, if nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for being here.